My name is Tank Edgecombe, and I hate Ben Stiller.
Open fire on my burning heart. I've never been lucky in love. My defenses are down, the kiss are a frown. I can't survive on my own. If a girl walks in and calls her name in my heart, I'll turn and run away. Every day we've all been led astray. It's hard to be lucky in love. It gets in your eyes, it's making you cry. Don't know what to do, don't know what to do. You're looking for love, call it heaven above. Send me an angel. Send me an angel. Right now. Right now. Send me an angel. Send me an angel. Right now. Right now.
Alright, welcome to the new look, I Hate Ben Stiller, where I'm trying to do fucking 5 things at once, so... Alright, so I Hate Ben Stiller will be going in a new direction, a more forward-thinking direction. Why should I trap your ears with a boring conversation for an hour when I can trap it with quick bursts on YouTube and Facebook? I'm not sure how often I'll post, what Cody's role is going to be at this time, but remember to subscribe to this channel because this is where all new content will be. Well, I'm going to put stuff on Facebook too, but yeah, so we're going to open this week with one of my few obsessions because I only have a couple biases here. And we're going to talk playoffs and coaching hires in the NFL. So we'll begin with the... Why did I tell you the script if I'm not going to use it? Alright, we'll start with coaches. Okay, the Dolphins. I feel the Dolphins made a mistake in firing Adam Gase to start with, which was somewhat obvious to me by how many teams brought him in for interviews. Obviously, they felt the guy never had a good shake, and I don't think he did either. Quarterback injuries alone should have brought him at least a new season. I mean, the guy went with Cuddles for a year. Come on. Give him a break. I kind of like the hire Brian Flores when it becomes official. I mean, the hiring principle. Pitcher coordinators seem to get somewhat lost without Belichick. But guess we'll see. I mean, I'm curious to see if they stick with Tannehill. Will they go to the draft to get that quarterback? Maybe try and trade for a veteran like Joe Flacco? The Jets getting Adam Gase, I think he's going to be in a better situation because I think he's going to start with a better quarterback. Probably a better defense. I mean, they showed a lot of spunk at the end of the year, where they keep games really close and still lose. So they give you hope, but they kept that draft pick high. So I think he can make this team a second place team because when you're in the division with the Patriots, you are just playing for second. I'll combine Bengals and Green Bay because I think they're pretty much the same hire. I mean, this is the Sean McVay coaching tree now. And teams trying to find the next Sean McVay is somewhat head scratching. I mean, normally in a parity league, you want to get teams that have won a Super Bowl, and McVay hasn't won a Super Bowl yet. I mean, 2 division championships, cool. But, he also came in with a really good quarterback and an elite running back and, one of the top defenses. I'm not familiar with the depth of these team rosters, but I think they have bigger problems in coaching. The big question, is Zach Taylor the guy to get Andy Dalton to be consistently good, or are they going to go for a different quarterback? LaFleur has to deal with, Aaron Rodgers. Going into Green Bay is intimidating enough without having the knowledge that Grumpy Cat is going to be the QB who really calls the shots. But at the same time, I think coaching the Packers is going to be way easier than coaching in the AFC North. Even with the Browns, hell, especially with the Browns looking better, I think we might be getting back to the point of, well, the Bengals have to be better next year, right? Broncos, it's a good hire. I'm impressed they didn't follow the offensive coach trend. Fangio had a great season in Chicago. And it helped he was gifted one of the best defensive players in the league right before the season with Khalil Mack. But now he gets Von Miller and Bradley Chubb. I still think they are without a quality QB, but seeing as they're in my division, I'm fine with that. The Browns, Freddie Kitchens keeps their, hiring Freddie Kitchens kept Baker Mayfield happy. It's a little sad Greg Williams didn't stay on as DC, as now they might get a new system and a coach who might not be as good as teaching it, but you kept the franchise QB happy, right? I do think Greg Williams should have gotten another shot at this, but I guess if Baker Mayfield says, I want Kitchens, you get Kitchens. But it's the Browns, so they always tend to make the wrong move anyways. But I guess we'll see. I mean, they do seem to have a legit franchise QB for the first time forever. Tampa Bay, Buccaneers, I'm mostly a fan of Arians. I think he gets a little too stuck in his ways. Like where it comes down to, well, the special teams is awful. You should get a new coach. Well, if you fire my coach, I'll quit. But he always was better with Todd Bowles as the defensive coordinator, and I think this is more or less kind of trying to set up Todd Bowles for another future head coaching run. Arians likes Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston likes Arians. I guess the question is, can you keep, Jameis Winston's head out of his ass? And if you can, I think they have pieces for a good team, but I don't know. That defense isn't good, but Todd Bowles is a great defensive coordinator, so we'll see. Okay, now we get to the Cardinals, and as an Arizona resident, I can clearly say I have yet to meet a person who isn't baffled by the hire of Cliff Kingsbury. I get he had interest from other teams, but is this really the Sean McVay theory here? This guy wasn't even in the top 30 coaches in the last few years in college. He couldn't win the Big 12, and it's not like he's coming off some Legends coaching tree, is it? I need help with understanding this hire. And he's not like, the young kid like Sean McVay. Like, I always get annoyed when they're like, Sean McVay was born in 1986. And it's like, fuck, he's younger than me and my wife. I like they got Vance Joseph as the DC, but I just don't get what was so bad about Steve Wilkes that Cliff Kingsbury is the better option for the future. My prediction, and I could be wrong, but I think we're going to be seeing the Cardinals pick in the top 10 of the draft for a while at least. This team just does not seem to know what they really want. Okay, so that is the head coaches. Let's shift to the playoffs. Chiefs are hosting the Colts to start off in the divisional round. They are fresh off a bye, while the Colts seem to have had one against the Texans last week. It's hard to pick against Mahomes, even though he hasn't played at this level yet, and Andy Reid always seems terrible in the playoffs. And the Colts' defense and offensive line look amazing going against a somewhat weak Kansas City defense. It'll be loud. It'll be cold. And the Colts are a dome team, so don't ever let people tell you the weather can affect the play of a team that doesn't play outdoors, especially since it looks like it snowed a ton in KC. I just don't know. It's hard to see the Chiefs pulling this one out against a red-hot Colts team. But it's also too hard to pick against Mahomes. He's done nothing but shatter all expectations all season, and I can't pick against them to not do differently. I'll go Chiefs over the Colts, 30-24. And I wish this thing was working right. That'll take us to, how about them Cowboys? They traveled to patient zero with this round of coaching hires, the Rams. It's so weird the Rams being here. I mean, I get they've been to and won more Super Bowls than my team, but they have just such long stretches of sucking. Well, the Rams have looked great all year. Well, they were a little bad at the end of the year, but Gurley was hurt. Oh, that backup was a lot better than you thought he'd be. Rams have... This is just a hard pick. Rams have the better passing defense, but the Cowboys have the better running defense. Running backs are essentially equal with Gurley and Elliott. But Goff is better than Prescott. So just on that, I'm going to go with the Rams win. Just because I think they have the better QB. I think it won't be, it'll be closer than the score, but I think it'll be something like 35-20 Rams. I'm going to skip to the weekend finale as we ask who that think they're going to beat them Saints. I don't think anyone beats the Saints in New Orleans. I think they're the best team in football right now by a country mile, and I know it seems dumb to pick against Foles, but I'm going Saints big here, probably in the 42-17 kind of game. I think they're going to blow them out. And, I mean, and I think that'll kind of end the mystique of Foles. I think he'll get head coaching. You never fucking know. The Cardinals might fire Cliff Kingsbury and hire Nick Foles to be their coach. That seems to be the route they're going. Okay, so finally we'll go with my Chargers are going into the winter cold at Foxborough and battle the GOAT. Which an old guy at my gym who constantly stops me and tells me the same things every time. They always, they call Tom Brady the GOAT. He actually talks like that too. It's not like an old man impersonation. He actually talks like that. GOAT stands for greatest of all time. I think the Chargers are a better team. However, Brady and Belichick in the playoffs, who really beats them? They're in the AFC Championship every year. If you stop the pass, suddenly they run. You stop the run, they go back to passing. They just find guys. They'll make a superstar out of a guy like James White, who will then get a big contract from another team and do nothing for them. I can't see. I mean, the Chargers, Philip Rivers, if he gets time, I think he can get stuff done. Melvin Gordon's banged up. Eckler just couldn't get it going against the Ravens, who have a better defense than the Patriots. But the Patriots they're like fighting the Borg. Every time you think you got them figured out, suddenly they come to life. I mean, maybe this is going to be a Clemson, Alabama thing, but, Patriots like Alabama. Every time you think you got them, they just come back and destroy you. So I'm going to go with a 21-13 Patriots, and I will probably sit heartbroken for the week. That's all for football. My next post will cover the arrival of All Elite Wrestling and why I think Kenny Omega going to All Elite Wrestling is the wrong choice. So until next time,